Spring is fast approaching, and I wanted to go over a fragrance that I covered about a year ago on the channel before. This one is Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum. If you go back on my channel, or maybe you even remember this review if you've been sticking around for over a year now, which is awesome, I reviewed this fragrance from a sample that I had received, and honestly, I wasn't too impressed at the time. I really didn't like it that much, and it's not that it's a bad fragrance or that it smells bad, it's just that it didn't really excite me. It wasn't anything new or groundbreaking, so I just gave it my honest thoughts. And now I've ended up picking this fragrance up for reasons. I'm going to be reviewing all of these YSL Y fragrances, all of the different flankers, even the new ones, YSL Y Live and YSL Y Fresh, I believe it is. Gonna have those coming in soon. Gonna be doing videos on those soon. I'll probably end up doing a video where I compare all of them together like I've done before in the past, like with Dior Sauvage and Terre d'Hermès and all those types of things. So that's why I am revisiting this one here on the channel. So if you want information on those new ones, make sure you stay tuned. But again, we're just checking out the EDP here today. I've had more time with it, I've worn it more, so I do want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on YSL Y EDP? Make sure you let me know down below in the comments. Now let's go and crack right into this. Let's start off with how this one smells. On my skin, what I get right in the opening when I spray this one on is apple and this ambroxan type of smell. If you look at the note breakdown, it's listed as amberwood, but really what I'm getting a lot of is this ambroxan, amber, apple, and ginger mixture. It opens up very, very fresh and clean and has this juicy type of feel to it, which sounds kind of weird, me saying that out loud, but it really, when you smell this, it has some body to it. It has really some depth to it, I guess, in that type of way. It doesn't smell flat by any means. It just has something that kind of pops, that kind of stands out, like a little bit of an effervescent, sparkling quality. I believe a lot of that is coming from that apple, maybe some of that bergamot in there as well, but you do get that, and it is something that just kind of hits you right on, right when you smell it. You're like, whoa, that kind of is an impact. You know, normally, sometimes when you smell fragrances, they're just kind of there, right? They don't really necessarily come out and get you, so to speak, but this one kind of has a way of really kind of popping through and really grabbing your attention. At least that's kind of how I'm trying to describe it here. So it doesn't have a flat, boring opening. What I'm trying to say is this one is pretty interesting off the opening. What I will say about this scent though is that it doesn't really change an awful lot as it starts to dry down. In the mid to dry down, still getting that apple, still getting a lot of that amberwood, still getting this fresh, clean, linen type of smell like I get in the opening. That's kind of what I get. It's extremely fresh, extremely clean. Now, I don't want you to mix it up and think that it smells like a Dior Sauvage or a Prada Carbon, because it really doesn't. It goes in a different direction. Even though it is kind of a blue fragrance, judging by the look of it, doesn't really smell like those. It does have a clean, fresh smell, like clean linens, more so than those other fragrances, and it doesn't have that sharp, spicy, peppery smell like Dior Sauvage, Prada Carbon, and so on. So some people say that this is Yves Saint Laurent's take on a blue fragrance, and honestly, I don't really view it that way. Yes, it is clean and fresh, and yes, it is blue, but it doesn't quite go to that level. It does kind of have its own thing here, and I do respect that. Does this one come across kind of sharp and somewhat synthetic? Yes, it does, and again, that's not a bad thing here. I like a lot of synthetic fragrances, but do realize that you do get that. It's very strong and very piercing. So this isn't a fragrance that's going to be like warm and easy on the nose, like some sweet fragrances out there, like Armani Code Absolute. That's a fragrance that's not harsh at all. It's very smooth, it's very sweet, very sensual. When you smell it, it's a nice, pleasant aroma. This one is a pleasant aroma. It does smell great, but it's got a piercing, sharp quality to it. Not in the same way as Dior Sauvage and Prada Carbon with that pepper, more so in that kind of like citrus, pop, blast, juiciness that you get from this fragrance. That's kind of where that comes from. So it is a little bit different there. And again, it does smell clean and fresh all the way through. In the dry down, to me, I almost pick up on a little bit of lavender. Now, I looked at the note breakdown and it doesn't have lavender listed as a note, or at least it doesn't on Fragrantica. I didn't cross-check that with the official website for their official note breakdown, but I do get a little bit of lavender in the dry down. So overall, what does this smell like in terms of comparing it to other fragrances? To be honest with you, it really doesn't smell that much like anything else. This is kind of one of those instances where it takes inspiration from a bunch of different fragrances. Yes, I do think it does take inspiration from Sauvage, Carbon, all those types of fragrances, and a lot of other generic fragrances on the market. I do think it does take inspiration from those fragrances, but again, I'm not saying that it smells just like them. So in a way, I guess you could almost think of it like a mashup of all of these mass-pleasing blue fragrances with just a twist on it. So when can you wear Yves Saint Laurent Y Edp? Honestly, this is one of those all year round signature scent type of fragrances. That's really what it is here in my personal opinion. You can wear it in springtime, you can wear it in summertime. It's going to work great for both of those months. If you are a guy and you're looking for a nice, fun, wearable spring summer fragrance, check this one out. And again, this is why I'm bringing this one up now as we're starting to get closer into springtime. I think this is a great candidate for spring fragrances, and this is a fragrance that I would put in my spring list. One of the things that I will tell you here about this one, since we're reviewing this one, why this is a good spring fragrance is because it's fresh but with a little bit of a sweetness. I think that sweetness comes from the amber wood that's in there, maybe from the ginger as well. There's just some depth behind here. It's not just straight up fresh citrus. It's got some warmer notes in the dry down, or maybe not dry down, but warmer notes in the base of the fragrance, kind of assisting the fresher notes, which gives it more depth and kind of helps it hold up in springtime when it's a little bit cold outside. You don't want to go full on citrus top notes, all the way through for summer. This just has a little bit of depth to it left over, making it good for spring. So let's go and talk about the performance of this fragrance, and this is where this one gets a thumbs up for me. Performance on my skin. Let's talk about longevity. Longevity, I get about 9-10 hours. Now, I don't remember what I got from this fragrance when I tested it from I almost threw this bottle on myself. I don't remember what I got when I tested this from a sample and I reviewed it. You can go back and look at that review to see what I got there. One of the things that I have had to realize with this one is it can, to an extent, cause a little bit of olfactory fatigue. So I did have to take that in mind when testing it this time around. But again, 9 to 10 hours longevity on my skin. Now, that is longevity with a little bit of projection left. It'll still stay on my skin after that 10-hour mark, but it's basically a skin scent. And at that point, it has worn down a lot. So even beyond 10 hours, but I'm talking about longevity with still a little bit of projection left, 9 to 10 hours. And in terms of projection, it's very strong. When I was testing it again, I did one spray on the back of my hand and was going throughout my day, and I wasn't having to bring my hand up to my nose at all to be able to smell it. Just doing my normal thing with my hands anywhere aside from up on my face, I could smell the fragrance all day. So it was projecting at least an arm's length or more, so it will get out of your personal bubble. Very, very strong performer here, which I think is awesome because, as you guys know, YSL fragrances don't always perform the best. La Nuit de l'Homme gets criticized every single day for its performance not being that good, which in my opinion, it's not as bad as people say. YSL L'Homme, another one, gets criticized for the performance. Again, it's not bad. It's not good either. There are a lot of YSL fragrances that don't have the best performance. This one, however, very, very strong, very impressive stuff. So is it beast mode? I wouldn't go as far to say that, but I'll tell you what, this one will get you noticed. It'll last through the entire day and then keep going after that. Talking about the price on this one, I believe these are going to be going for around $80 for 100 ml. I will have this one linked down below to wherever it's in stock. I believe FragranceNet and FragranceX has them, but I could be wrong. They go in and out of stock often. It's hard to keep up with. They will be linked down below. You can check those links out to see what the price is and where it's cheaper at, because again, it's going to fluctuate. I want to say you're going to be paying around that $80, maybe $85 range. So it is a YSL. It is going to be more expensive. That's just kind of how it goes. Do I think it's worth that price? I think, hey, if you're after a strong, versatile fragrance for the spring and summer with great performance and, just something that's going to be in that blue fragrance territory, but also something different, yeah, I say, hey, check it out. And if you like it, pick it up. I do think it is worth the price. Am I glad I bought it? Yeah, I honestly am. I will wear this scent I don't regret buying it. I've been more impressed with it this time around than before. And again, it's not that I didn't like the fragrance before, it's just that I wasn't all that enthused about it. Now, while it's still nothing different, like that hasn't changed, it's still considered a generic fragrance by my standards and by most everyone else's standards, I do respect it more. I can see the use for it, and because of that, I will wear it. So guys, that's gonna do it for me. That was my review on Ysl Y Edp. Again, more reviews coming on this line of fragrances. I got 2 of the new ones coming in that I'm going to be reviewing. So make sure you stay tuned, get subscribed down below. Let me know what you think of Ysl Y Edp and any of the other flankers. That's going to do it for me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night with another. Take care.